can stop you from being deceived. If you try to find out what's up my sleeve, you can figure out what a bag of means. If you try, nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from nothing can stop you from being deceived. Nothing can stop you from being deceived.
Welcome to the I Cut My Way Out podcast. I apologize for my absence last week. I had some family things going on. I had to take care of that. You know, you got to prioritize things. That's not saying that y'all not a priority, because y'all definitely a priority. It's just you fell second to this list that I had to take care of. So I had to take care of it. I had to make that happen. But we back. We in this thing, you feel me? Got that faded culture going on. Got the fitted. I left my I Cut My Way Out cap at the crib, so I gotta put that thing back on. Okay. Big Mike Smoke, what's going on? So yeah, we finna go live with cuts by Ken. I think I'm saying it right. Is it Kenna or Kenya?
You know what? I want to, because I don't remember when she introduced herself when I met her at CT. I was saying Kenna, but I don't know if it's Kenya. So we're gonna find out here.
Okay, we gonna bring her on and we're gonna find that out. But matter of fact, we gonna bring her on. We gonna let her tell her story. I ain't even finna do that.
Let me just say this before we get started. Not tell her story, but so we were at CT. And Shy was doing his thing, moving around with the camera, getting content. Me and my son was together, and we were just kind of making our way. And so we seen Tune 45, their booth, and it was over there cracking. It looked like a party. And we seen two barbers, I believe, that were on the platform in the same area, but different platforms doing their thing. Mm-hmm. One was a male barber, one was a female barber. So as we got closer, we see the female barber because she was closest to us, and she had a dude in the chair, and the fade was super blurry. It looked like it was in 4K. And me and Ash looked at each other like, damn, like, man, she raw with them clips. So we approached, you know, I talked, so, you know, we introduced ourselves and just complimented her and told her, how much we liked the cut, and you know, asked a couple questions, but wasn't trying to be too intrusive because, you know, she was cutting at the time, and she had the client in the chair. So that gauged, you know, my interest, just to find out more about her. And thanks to Beam as well, Poppy Beam, man, salute to you, because he also contacted her as well, and man, she responded, and she's excited to come on. So man, let's, you know, no further ado, let's get her on and tell her story.
Shout out Beam, because that means that he I really appreciate people who stand on their word. He stood
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's get her on real quick. Hold on a second. Whoa, where'd she go? Hold up. SOOMUCH Alright, I got that. Boom. Alright, I sent that invite.
Okay.
Ash, what's going on, bro?
That's
my boy. We gotta get back out.
Yeah, man.
Dude, hilarious.
So we are extremely excited, man. I'm telling you, we looked, and man, she was she was laying that blend down. I mean, it was extremely top notch, man. And I had, at that point, I had never heard her name. Wasn't familiar with what's up, bro? Wasn't familiar with who she was at the time, and so that was the approach. So man, yeah, there she is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just sent you an invite. I'm gonna send you another one.
Okay. Yes. Super excited, man, and it's pretty dope because this is the second week in a row that we've had another female barber, which is, you know, I know we've had people to ask, and so we want to make sure that
bro, you're not keeping it safe, gang. You're not keeping it safe, gang.
What's going on?
All right. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
All right. What's the word?
Do you need time to get to your location? Because you in New York. That can't be safe.
No, I'm in upstate New York, so it's not like I'm in the city. I live in a small ass town, and a lot of people don't know that, which is really funny.
Do you need time to get to your location? We just want to make sure we're giving you the most time.
Right.
Nope, I'm here.
Okay.
I am here.
That's what's up.
I bet. Well, since you there, we here. We ready to jump into it. First and foremost, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Another beautiful day. How are you guys doing tonight? I'm really appreciative of you guys having me here. I was really looking forward to it.
Most definitely. We appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you.
Doing well and excited. I don't know if you got the chance, but we were kind of having a hard time seeing you. It's kind of dark in the background. But we were, really excited to have you on. I was telling the story how my son and I, when we were at CT, we were all there together. But we were in different places. And so when me and my son came to the booth and saw you cutting, we were just amazed just with the quality, of the cut, because you see so many cuts on social media, and you see the filters and you see all the enhancements, and we're watching you go to work, right there in person, and it looked like it was a filtered haircut, but I'm watching you do the work. So we were, my son looked at me, I looked at him, and we were like, damn.
I really appreciate that. That's one of the things I'm really grateful for is when I got into the industry, I've been cutting for 10 years now. But when I first got into the industry, social media was just starting.
Right.
And that was even like 6 months into me just getting going.
Right.
So I started without even having that motivation, and I'm grateful for that. I think social media it's a double-edged sword, right? It has a lot of beauty to it. But it also can be a crutch that people lean on.
Absolutely. So before we even just really kick it off and get into it, give the viewers a short bio of who you are and where you're from and all that good stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. So my name is McKenna Taylor. I am 28 years old. I am from Geneva, New York, which is upstate New York, smack dab in the middle of Rochester and Syracuse.
Okay.
Population of my city is less than 15,000 people.
Wow.
I own a barbershop here, and I own one also in the next town over as of June of this year. So I have 2 locations. I recently just started a food business. I just love the work. I love to solve problems and create opportunities. And I have a great team that work with me, and they help keep the dream going. I've been cutting for 10 years. I'm an educator 45, which I'm super grateful for. I'm surrounded by a bunch of motivated, well-rounded people, and that's my family, and I am just super grateful to be here.
That's what's up. 10 years, 28, 18 years old. Who put that first pair of clippers in your hand?
And so I graduated high school, and I went to cosmetology school, which was in Rochester, and my intention of going to cosmetology school was to do nails. That's what I wanted to do. I have an older brother. He's a mechanical engineer, total bookworm. He's one of those, and that was never me. And I always told my parents, I was like, I don't want to go to college. Not for me. It doesn't work for me. I'm creative.
Right.
And so I went to cosmetology school. My mom was like, go do everything, get licensed for everything, But barbering was always the thing throughout school that nobody could ever answer for me. You know, I was surrounded by psychologists. Every time a man would walk into the clinic that we had, everybody would always like kind of squirm around and they'd be like, go ask so-and-so, go ask so-and-so, and they'd run from it. And for me, like I grew up, like I have brothers and cousins, and, you know, being around males was not something that made me bad twice.
Right.
I was like, figure it out. I'll figure out how to do it. And it was always a big question. So that was really how I got into it. And that really, I'm learning as I get older, having a problem is what really fuels me. And when I find a solution, this is, I just want to back it up because this has been a major thing for me in the future. Trying to figure out what exactly that I'm about. Entrepreneurship for me, you know, of course the money follows along afterwards. You know, I think that is a result of working hard. But for finding a problem, creating a solution, creating a system around that solution, and then creating opportunities for other people. And by doing that and creating opportunities last, it allows me to understand the whole system and everything that's going on, create the system and the opportunity for somebody else, and replace myself. That's how I get into more passive income.
Hold on, wait, whoa.
Yeah, that was
somebody, whoever got the Twitter fingers, I need you to type this. This is what she said, and correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Kenna, right?
Yep.
Okay. Find a solution for a problem.
Yep.
Right? Find a system for the solution. Right? And then find a way to create opportunities for others through the system for the solution. Somebody type that so that we can pin that, because if you didn't just pick up that's a barbershop size jewel that you just dropped. I don't know if people realize what you put it on right now. That can be applied in everything.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah, because for me, I love barbering. Barbering will always be so close to my heart. It's where everything started for me, you know, as far as ownership, you know, financial stability, meeting people, creating a platform, you know, and being able to travel the country through barbering. I will never deny that. Barbering will always be the center of my heart. But I realized, I was like, I don't want to get to the end of my life and say that I'm a barber. And I'm not undermining that. I just feel like as humans, we are taught and we are pushed so far to go to school, find a career, do that for the rest of your lives, and figure out how to retire from that.
Absolutely.
I want to do more. I want to do more than that. And I want to say that at the end of my life, I have figured out all of these problems, and I've learned to master and fulfill myself through all of these different avenues.
Right. That's
why I got into food.
I love that mindset. I love that mindset.
Yeah.
And it's so dope because so many people, because one thing I didn't know as I researched, and we'll talk about this in a little while, I didn't know you were the owner of the shop of Symmetry. That's super dope. So we're going to talk about the ownership piece too.
Cool.
But one of the things that I think is super cool about what you just said is at the end of that, you're trying to find someone to replace you, right? And so you're not, you know, you get so many shop owners that when they get people there and, you know, they leave and go to grow, people have problems with that. And you're saying as a leader, you want to help people explore and find themselves and delegate to them to allow them to be able to grow, and you grow at the same time. And that's one of the beautiful things about this industry.
I couldn't agree more. You know, it's a quote I heard. It said, a raising tide raises all boats, right?
Somebody just said that to me. Oh my God. Who just said that? DJ Cuddy just said that. He literally just said that to me in comments somewhere a couple weeks ago.
It's so true to me. Like, I feel like, you know, I've been in the environment of somebody trying to just push me down and keep me under their thumb. And, you know, I want you to do good, but I don't want you to do better than me.
Right.
You know, that's a really hard place. You know, I know what it feels like to be on that end of it. And I just have to think, I'm like, how much energy does that take to have to feel that way?
Absolutely.
You know, to watch every move and try to be ahead and try to, you know, I would rather stay in my own lane, put the pedal to the floor, let's go. You know, and if you're driving your car next to me and you want to do this, let's go.
Right.
Let's do it. So with my second location that we just had opened in June, the manager of that location, his name's Max. He's been working in my shop in my first for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
And I will preach this till the day that I die. I had said to him one day, I saw him growing and doing great. There was an opportunity for him to buy a different barbershop, and he passed it down. And he came to me and he's like, you know, I just want to let you know, like, this is something that I was looking into. And I said, awesome. I'm like, you know, I told him, I'm like, why I didn't think it was a good idea, like, from if I were him, not as in, you know, that's not a good idea, bro. Don't do that.
Right.
But I XYZ. I don't know if this would have worked out exactly the way you want it to. It could have. I think it's possible, and anybody can make something out of nothing. But I told him, I was like, now that you've had that opportunity, do you feel like growth and the next level is something that you're interested in? He said, yeah. He was like, it made me think a little bit, like, it is possible. And I said, cool. I said, if I can be a part of it and you want to do this together, let's do it. So right now what he's doing is he's managing my second location. It is 15 minutes away from my first location, which is beautiful because, you know, I learned through our Tune 45 system, I'm starting from scratch doing it that way, which is really nice.
Absolutely.
Have clients that will still go to that next location, so you're not starting with 0 clients and 0 money.
Absolutely.
But I told him, I said, if you want that opportunity, let's do it. I feel like so many times people are working in a barbershop and they single themselves off and they go to open their own. And sometimes, I know not all cases are perfect, but what I try to preach is, why are we going to do that? Why are we going to all break off separately, one by one, start a whole new brand, where as if our values and our morals align and our vision, why don't we build off of this platform that's already started being built?
Right. Build on the foundation that's already laid.
Right.
I got a question though, because you have a very interesting philosophy when it comes to problem mitigation, it sounds like, right? But my question is, with that same philosophy in mind, how are you vetting, besides that conversation, and let's say that situation, that scenario hadn't happened, and he didn't research that barbershop and show that interest in leadership. What other ways are you vetting potential leaders from within your already established infrastructure?
That's a great question. I always wanted to expand Symmetry Barbershop. That I wanted to do. Me personally, I didn't have an interest going there and starting a new clientele.
Okay.
That if I started a second location, I would have to be there day and night, you know, the first in, last out, build clientele, setting a name, and that was not an interest that I had. For me, and my interest is getting away from the chair. Maybe not 100%. I would like to keep a small clientele, but I don't right behind the chair. So I just knew that that opportunity would come and the right person would present itself to do that. Now, because it's already in motion and the plan is already rolling, I feel like for a third location, that will come on its own. You know, like, we're going to have all these people that are working with us, and, you know, I feel like it's just bound to happen. Now that we know what opportunities to present people. But I never really had the full package to sit here and say to somebody, hey, if you want to do this and open the second location, you have to do.
Right.
So I have a question. So coming out of cosmetology school, did you go into any other shop, or did you just say, I'm jumping out here and I'm starting my own? How did that?
Yeah, I actually, after cosmetology school, I was working in cosmetology school. I was working with like a barber instructor that was there.
Okay.
And then coming out of cosmetology school, I worked in a spa for a while, actually.
Okay.
That was only for probably like 4 months.
Okay.
And from there, I ended up going to into a barbershop for the first time.
Okay.
I was there for 2.5 years before I decided to come here and do my own thing.
In that spa, were you cutting hair or were you doing massage therapy stuff?
In the spa, I was doing bridal updos. I was doing pedicures, manicures.
Really?
Makeup, and women's color. I was doing some men's haircuts, but it was pretty minimal.
Oh wow, that's not. We ain't gonna let you ever minimize that accomplishment. No, you're not. No, man, not here, not on this platform. You're not. That's wearing many hats, and again, to me, that comes from a mindset. That's a mindset thing. That's like, I think you said your mom told you, get your license, but study everything. Learn, get a piece of everything. If it's a buffet on the table and they told you come in and eat, don't just go in and eat chicken because you like chicken. Get some chicken, get some turkey, get some steak, get some beef, get it all. Because you never know when those things will come forward and be needed. You know what I mean? I think that's dope, bro.
Now with that, I'm going to piggyback off that, Shy. So with you doing a plethora of things, right? Once you got into the shop and you just started cutting hair, was there anyone that tried to talk you out of it in terms of just specifically focusing on barbering, since you were doing so many things and there was an opportunity to make money in several different avenues?
So I actually, y'all are going to laugh at me for this one. I actually, while I was in when I first got into the shop, my parents were very nervous about it.
Okay.
My mom worked in the court system, so she made me go and take one of the civil service exams.
Okay.
Like, before you do anything, I just want you to do this. It has great benefits. You'll be set up for retirement. You'll have all the things that you need.
Absolutely.
Man, a civil service test, and they had me alphabetizing and doing all that. Yeah. Let's just say I left and I was in a mild panic attack, and I called my mom.
Say no, bro. This ain't it.
This is not
ain't it.
I'm thankful. The best financial thing that my parents ever had done for me was, as soon as they realized I was going to take barbering and run with it, my mom banked and she said, here, we're going to do this. And she got me set up at 18 with a Roth IRA. That was the first thing that I did.
Huge. That's humongous.
Yeah. And for young barbers, or any barbers, especially young barbers coming in, because I hear oftentimes, well, they're so young. I have a Roth IRA as well. And if you start at a young age, I don't care if you're putting $50 a month, starting at some point and just getting used to that, putting that money in there and acting as if, you never had it. And as you grow as a barber and as you make more money, you're putting more money into that system, because so many barbers don't realize, and especially now, we're in the golden age of barbering. There's never been an era of barbers that made the kind of money that we are making as a complete barbering industry, right? So we get money hand over fist a lot of times if you're providing the quality and you have a good clientele, but you don't want to look up 20 years later and you've made all this cash and you have nothing to show for it, and you don't have any retirement or any money on the back end.
Right.
And even at the point I am financially now, I'm thankful because that money that's in my Roth IRA, you know, if I want to, I can pull it and invest in a business that I'm thinking about, or, you know, anywhere that I'm trying to invest it, really.
Right.
Knowing that I've set myself up in a way that that's going to flow that's going to flow its way throughout the times, you know. But it did teach me that, exactly what you're talking about. It taught me how to save for something. It taught me how to keep something on the back burner just in case, and to prepare for the end game. You know, I like to say, I'm like, everybody wants to teach you how to get behind the chair and how to cut hair, but how to get out before.
Absolutely. I'm interested in knowing, first big shout out to Moms Do. Big shout out to Moms Do. That now I'm understanding, as you talk more and I learn more about you, I'm understanding where that mindset comes from, right? But I am interested in knowing, Mom set you up with a great foundation, right? It's been working and circulating itself for 10 years, right? In that 10 years up to this point, what things have you done to further educate yourself in regards to financial literacy and other ways that Roth IRA and other financial institutions that's available to you now as a barber, as a business owner, someone who has these different opportunities tax-wise and financial-wise, because your business, you have an established business identity.
Right.
What things are you implementing, and what things have you learned in that 10-year window that you plan to apply, or that you can teach somebody, or advice you would give somebody in regards to, you know, lessons that you learned along their way?
Or just what she's using to make sure that she's able to come from behind the chair during the time that she wants to.
Yeah.
That I've used and applied to what I'm doing. It's really interesting because now is when I'm getting far into the financial side of it. I would say, if I've been in the game for 10 years now, you know, the first 3.5, you know, I wasn't really thinking about scaling, you know. It was really just being behind the chair, trying to get as many clients as I can, make as much money as I can, which brings me back to, you know, what you guys had just said is, you know, barbers nowadays, man, bless them, because coming into this, when I first started, and I'm sure you guys can relate, I was charging $12 for haircuts. $12 for haircuts and $15, yeah, $15 with the at that
work
about now.
Yeah.
And I remember then saying, man, when I can charge $50 for a haircut, I made it. And now, starting out of school with me are coming in and they're charging $30 tip.
Man, out the gate.
Yep.
Out the gate. They have no idea how blessed they are.
I love that for them. But as far as like financial stuff, you know, I was really focused on, and this is one thing actually as of this year that I've been really focused on changing, is that I have always focused on pulling money. I've always been really good at pulling in money, you know, doing all of this stuff to pull it in, but never having the organization, the literacy, the understanding. I've always had the saving, like I was good at saving money, but I just pull it in, it'd be like a little squirrel, basically.
Right.
But still working with Tomb 45, which I am, you know, I'm not even saying this because I'm affiliated with them, but it has been such a blessing to have Tomb 45 in my life, you know, and Basio and everybody that's on our team, because we now have an accounting department. They're handling taxes. They're doing my bookkeeping.
Wow.
To the point where they literally can handle that for me while also informing me and educating me about what's going on with my money. Next week, I think I have a meeting with them for strategy. So just to take the next step further, you know, you'll obviously invest money into stuff, but I mean, I'll pay what I'm paying with them 10 times over just for the knowledge and the peace of mind that I'm getting with working with them.
Wow. It sounds like your alignment with them. Well, I can't say if it's 100% your alignment with them because, again, from what you've told us about your mom and how she's, you know, caretook your journey in a sense, and your own approach, you sound like you come from a systematic background where, you know, there's systems in place for reasons, and your mom is teaching you that, you know, if you're going to do this, have this system, not in hopes or just in case you fail, but it's just intelligent to have this system in place so that you can confidently move forward and put your all into what you're doing, yada, yada, yada. I also know that, at least from listening to Sebastião, we had an interview with Beam on him, and listening to his mindset change in regards to how he was able to build himself up and then understand that I'm making X amount of dollars and I'm making this amount of money per year, but like you just said earlier, this money isn't making money for me yet. So am I really making anything yet? And again, he said the same thing you just said. Once he started to align himself with people who were figuring out ways as barbers, as entrepreneurs, as whatever, to make their money work for them, listening to his conversation, now he's talking about real estate, and he talked about financial literacy and how he decided to move just so that he can put himself in a position so that he can be a little bit more equipped and ready to make those financial moves. I'm saying all that to say, long-windedly say, by the way, I'm sorry about that. I'm saying all that to say that it's definitely an enormous benefit to have a team that aligns themselves and work within a strategy to accomplish whatever goal that you're trying to accomplish, versus, like you said earlier, we all come into this game and you get money so fast that you could become a little lackluster and be lulled to sleep because you feel like whatever I lose, I can replace tomorrow. Whatever I get, I can spend it and get it back. So there is no sense of urgency to make any financial plan. So you just working, really you spinning your own wheels. You the hamster on the wheel running in place.
Right.
This industry needs to do that. And yeah, like you're saying, surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that have goals, that are pushing, that aren't getting in their own way, that don't need people, you know, everybody needs a little, you know, push along the way, a little wind at their back to help them keep going. But there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that compares to running this marathon, being so tired, out of breath, and you look to your left and your right, and you got people that are running with you, and they're tapping you on the shoulder like, come on, let's go. And you're like, all right, let's go.
Absolutely.
And that's
That's a great analogy.
That's what 245 has done for me and my family. Man, you know, thinking back to all the situations we've had, and we've all picked each other up and pushed forward in order to keep going.
Right.
I couldn't agree more.
I have a question. And Barbie Pink Barber had a question too. So how did you become affiliated with Tune 45, and how did that work into you becoming an educator with the team?
Yeah. I started traveling to barber shows and to the beauty expos back like 2017 probably. And you know, I walked in there and I was just blown away because I'm like, look at all this stuff that's around. It was like a whole new world. So that's where I'd met.
Can you hear that? You kind of break it up.
Am I better now?
I don't know. You got one of them flip phones or something. You say you in the sticks. You really in the sticks, bro. Cause you freaking up, man.
Yeah.
I think she froze
You
again.
there?
Nah, she freezing. Hey, I don't know if it's her phone or if it's IG again, bro.
Right.
IG be playing, bro. IG be playing so tough. So tough.
Kenya,
I'm gonna drop you off and we're gonna try to bring you back on.
Let me go on the step.
Hold on.
can you? We didn't hear you say that again.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know if I start breaking out again. But
Okay.
yeah, I started traveling to barber shows, and basically I met Jay Majors in New York City at IBS. And really, you know, everybody just kept saying, like, just come around, just be there, and that's how you really get connected with people. So I had messaged Jay on Instagram, and I was like, hey, what's your next show? And he was like, I'm going to Salt Lake City in 2 weeks. So I ended up buying last-minute flights to Salt Lake City. I flew myself out. I flew my cousin out because I was afraid to go by myself. I spent like $1,200 on freaking flights and an Airbnb. Total, like, just winging it, right? And yeah, tell me about it. But that it was a small booth. It was Basio. He was sitting there cutting, slaving all day, doing demos, talking to people, shaking hands. It was Basio, it was Dre, and I think Loco was with us at the time. And that was really the connection I made. And I ended up going to dinner with Jay and my friend Leche. We went to the Ruth Chris, and we're sitting there at the bar. And I remember turning to Jay, and I'll be like, I really like the vision that Basio has. Mm-hmm. From the bat, you know. So I just kept messaging Basio. I'm like, hey, you know, I see your vision. I want to be a part of it. How do we do this? And he's just always like, come around. So I think it was Connecticut or Orlando. We were setting up for the show, and I kind of snuck my way into setup. And I'm just like, hey, what's up? I'm here. Like, how can I help? And it all kept rolling from there, you know, just making yourself useful, finding how you become of value to, you know, whoever it is that you look up to, and just sacrificing and putting the work in, you know, like I paid my way for everything, and sacrificed time and money just to go and surround myself with these people and with this company. And I'm so glad that I invested into it.
Absolutely.
How has the affiliation and the membership with Tomb 45 changed your trajectory in the industry?
In the industry, man. What's that?
I said, or added to.
Man, there's a certain culture that we have with Tomb 45 that I'm really grateful for. There's a huge community of people that are working together. And like I said, the race and running and looking left and right, we have our whole Discord group chats and stuff, and they go off all day. Everybody asking all the questions that they have, you know, other members answering, us educators answering, Basio answering, and everybody just has all of that at their fingertips. So having that community, and like I said, just still being surrounded by such great people that push you forward. I mean, I feel like there's no price tag that you can put on that. But as far as within the industry and getting the education that I have, man, just being able to platform. I mean, look, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys if I wasn't on that stage in Connecticut doing what I was doing.
Maybe, because we've seen them haircuts eventually. I mean, you putting out some flames. Right. So we've seen them eventually. I do want to say this, though. I think that something just clicked in my mind listening to you, right? What
What's
clicked
that?
in my mind, I remember when I first started cutting hair, right? Of course, I would watch the Get Beams, I would watch the Game Changers, Jeezys, and Shine Cut Hair, all these people on YouTube, and then they'd be like, yo, one day I'm gonna be able to do that. One day I'm gonna be able to cut like that. One day I'm gonna have that enthusiasm about cutting hair. And that keeps feeding the furnace inside of you, right? To show up to the shop, keep putting out them slaw cuts until you find one that look decent where you can take a picture of it, right? I remember I can feel all those things still, right? But what never clicked in my mind, as you start to progress in your career as cutting, right? You start to see those things, and like you said, like, man, how can I align myself with that? How can I be a part of that? What do I have to do? So many people, millions of people across the globe have that shared thought. How can I be a part of that? You know what just clicked in my mind listening to you and then running? You know how you listen to somebody and then you run back other conversations that you done had with people, other conversations you done had with people that they talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
What clicked in my mind, that shit that I wish would have clicked all that time ago, that clicked for you because it's who you are and it's part of that upbringing and that systematic approach to your career, was it's not about how good you can cut hair. How good you can cut hair is definitely an added bonus to it, but it's about the context of the character. It's about the person. Who are you as a person that you fit as a puzzle piece that adds to the bigger picture? Your mindset fits to that puzzle piece. Somebody who's willing to spend some bread to get out to have a conversation. Okay, bet I done had the conversation. They done told me the information. Let me see. Ain't nobody looking. Shit, let me get behind this curtain. Hey, how can I help y'all? Let me help you set up. Let me grab a box. Let me do something. That mindset is definitely, just as a business owner, if somebody approached you with that mindset, with that approach, and it was genuine, right? For anybody that try to take this and twist it up and think you can manipulate your way into a situation, people who embody that type of characteristic are able to see other genuine people who embody that same characteristic. Yo, big shout out to you for that. And that, to me, every time I get a chance to talk to somebody like yourself, or I get an opportunity to catch a video of somebody where they just being authentic, talking to the camera, it's the same characteristic. And it's like, and just listening to you right now, it finally, out of all these years I've been slanging hair, making floors dirty, it finally clicked. So I appreciate you for that. Definitely.
Hey, and that maybe that's gonna be full circle. Shannon, what's going on? S Craft in the building.
S Craft in the building. What's going on?
Maybe that circles back to what we were talking about, and it's kind of making a little link for me as well, is where I said trying to find, now I'm finding the problem.
Absolutely.
So I'm going behind the curtain and I'm trying to help, and I'm trying to find the problem that I can solve.
Absolutely.
Because that's what makes me valuable to that, which also in turn leads to being a servant.
Absolutely.
Right.
And obviously, to a certain degree, you have to expect a return or hope for one, or have to see that within the vision. But serving first and foremost,
right,
man.
So,
and that's what separates people, because that's oftentimes that's the hardest pill to swallow for a lot of people. A lot of people want to be in better positions, but they don't have the fortitude to serve first.
Exactly.
Because they've never served first.
right.
So that pill is about as big as this microphone, and it's sour. It's not sweet like when you cutting and you getting paid or getting tipped. It's not sweet like when you posting and people liking your content. It's not sweet like when you able to go and get the latest J's, or go and get the nice car. All the look good stuff is sweet, but serving somebody is swallowing a pig this big that tastes like you licked the floor.
Right.
It may hurt to some people, and for others, this pill shrink down the size of a pea because it's who you are. It's who you are, and I think who said it? Oh my God, Marcus Harvey. We had Marcus Harvey on, and Marcus Harvey summed it up real good. He came from a background of being a servant, to his pastor in the church.
Right.
And through those lessons of positioning yourself in a place where you're ready to help, all the doors start opening, because people recognize people who serve first. Really, that's what we're here for. I be telling people all the time, your purpose in life, in my opinion, this is my opinion, and my opinion on this is unsolicited. So you say what you want to say on Instagram and on the internet about me, I don't care. You already know that about me. I got a skunk streak in my beard. Come on now, be for real, right? In my opinion, our purpose in life, you're supposed to live life for the people coming after you. It's a servant's approach to life. My purpose of living is to learn as much as I can so that I can hand it off to the person coming behind me so that they can learn as much as they can and avoid the hurdles. That way they can learn everything I couldn't in my life. Right. And now they can hand back double, and the person behind them can hand back triple, and so on and so forth. So that's always been my belief.
I believe that as well. I'm right on board with you.
Right.
Frank the barber, Frank Soto, taught me one of the biggest things in one of his classes, and he had said, knowledge is not power. It's what you do with the knowledge that gives it power.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I have a question for you. So during your journey, right, as we're learning more and more the journey, your 10 years in, your ownership opening, a new location, ambassador for Tune 45. So now that you're 10 years in, if you could go back and have a conversation with the younger you from 10 years ago,
18,
what advice and just information would you give the younger you today?
That's a damn good question, Ash.
That's
a damn good question.
There's so much that's coming to my mind because when you think back on 10 years, being 18, and almost about to be 30 at this point, right, those are the years of your life that you really get knocked to the floor, figure out who you are, and you get the chances to build yourself back up from scratch. But with experience, there ain't nothing like that, and no matter how painful it is in the moment, man, that was even the hardest times in my life throughout the past 10 years have been the most beautiful as well. If I were to go back and give 18-year-old me advice, this can be applied to, both men and women. For myself personally, as a woman, I would go back and I would just pat myself on the back and be like, keep building and keep working, because this foundation that you're building, within your business is going to provide you with so much support. It's going to push you on the days that you feel like not doing anything, that you feel like giving up. And, as a woman today, being able to be financially free and independent within myself, that has done a lot for me. Man, I would just pat her on the back and I'd say, keep going, but really trusting in yourself. Huge thing that I think is really important for people to understand is that throughout your journey as a barber, you're going to come across so many people, man. So many, as clients, as coworkers, as barbershop owners, as friends, family, everything in this life that you come across, even if it's not showing you a reflection of exactly what you want and want to be like and something you want to become and project, it is teaching you exactly who you are not.
Absolutely.
So
mic drop.
You say you 28? You say you 28, yeah, bro?
Yeah, I am.
I don't believe your ass. Hell no. Ain't no way you 28 with that much wisdom on you, right? Since you got on this live, you've been dropping wisdom bomb after wisdom bomb after wisdom bomb. Hey.
And I asked that question because I think sometimes that we're so caught in the moment with our progress that sometimes we don't reflect, and I know I get, caught in that sometimes. And so it was just something I was just kind of spinning and just wanted to ask you. I have a couple more questions. One, you talked about your creative side, right? If you weren't barbering, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't barbering, what would I? You get it from my guy. Now I have to tell the story.
Okay.
So that pin comes from, we were in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon was there. His wife was there, Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
And Shannon, I think that might have been the first time I met your wife. We were standing somewhere all together, us three,
Mm-hmm.
and Shannon and his wife had walked away, and we were at the show. The show was active and live, and somebody came up to me and they were like, is Shannon your dad?
Damn.
They were like, is S-Craft your dad?
Damn.
I thought it was really funny because really seeing me, Shannon, and his wife Nikki standing together, I mean, I could kind of see what he was talking about, like at least related, but they looked at me and they're like, oh, damn. So now Shannon and I are always joking around, like, what's up, Dad?
Oh, man. That's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
That's crazy. Like, how do we, at some point, we got to get S-Craft on here, because how do you take that when they like, hey, they thought I was your daddy. Well, they thought you was my father. Yeah, damn, we had a show. I know how to put it on. Ain't no way. They lying.
Exactly.
Lying. Yeah, that's crazy, man. But
get it from a daddy, huh?
Get it from
Yeah, they said, man, your daughter can cut too.
Right. And you blurry with
Right, so he done passed the gift down,
huh? He can't deny. Hey, S-Craft, you got some explaining to do, bro.
So,
but that's dope, man.
But I do have to say, man, like a lot of what I've picked up throughout the years has been through watching people like Shannon, specifically Shannon, within his faith, within his mindset, just Shannon as a man. I'm just super grateful to have him on the team.
That's what's up.
He definitely provides so much value, and I'm super grateful for sure.
He is definitely inspiring.
He the silent assassin, man.
Not just as a barber, but his faith. I've been following him for quite some time, and we've been communicating the last couple of days, and I'm definitely excited for that too, because he's definitely an inspiration, and that's a blessing for you to have so many like-minded and just good models, not only as barbers, but just strong-minded people who are looking to grow on your team. Because sometimes you get stagnant when you look left to right and there's nobody there to help pick you up, and you just feel like you're running this race by yourself. So
I could agree. Even as you're saying, as barbers and individuals and people that want to grow, there's been times, many times, where I've been going through I've been in the hardest place of my life, fighting every single day. And I was traveling with Tomb 45. We were gone 2 weekends a month. So have provided emotional support on top of being so motivational. And, and there's times too where I'm on the other end of that, and there's times where people need my support. And I'm so grateful, because I know that even if I'm at a low point in my life, I could turn to my family and just be like, guys, like, I'm really struggling. Like, I remember being on the phone with Kendricks one day, and I'm like, Kendricks, I'm struggling. This isn't working. This doesn't feel right. I'm not happy doing this. I don't feel fulfilled. And he just looked at me, or we were on FaceTime. He looked at me and he goes, Kenna, it's time to go, man. Pick it up. Do it. you know, tomorrow's a new day. We're doing this. And like, that was one of the most motivational conversations I've ever had with somebody.
That's a blessing. We all need that. And some of us don't have it all the time. That's a blessing.
Yeah. And that's for me, you know, if
Especially-
anybody's watching this and you ever get to those points, or, you know, you need help with something, I always preach on, you know, like our education, 245 online education. If you need something, please reach out. Like, reach out, man, because if there's something I can help with, I know that my knowledge being implied to something is where the power is behind it. Passing it on, like we've been talking about, that is literally what it's about.
That's what's up.
And that's a hard thing within this industry, man. I think that's something that I focus on when I teach, because I go around and I teach, you know, fade and design work. We're gonna talk about them designs too. Don't think I let you off the hook with that, because I saw the work. But fade designs, how to shape and manipulate the fade and move it and all that, right? But one of the biggest things I focus on is the philosophy of barbering, right? I feel like that's such a overlooked part of teaching, because it's a lot of conditions within barbering that your family won't understand, that people who aren't in the industry just won't relate to. It's also, and then that goes from being a barber in a suite, being a barber in a shop, being a barber in a commission base, being a barber in booth rent base, being an owner, being someone who owns the brick, someone that leased the building. Each level of barbering has its own set of circumstances and situations and all these other things that you deal with, that is it can be very difficult to have those conversations with people who aren't in the industry and who haven't experienced those things directly. So I think it's like you said, it is extremely, extremely valuable to have it, whether it's a small network or it's a big 245 network of people who you can contact and reach out to, who are in the industry, where you can actually get some sound advice. Right. Or even if it's not advice, just having somebody to hear you. Because I don't know about you, but there have been times where I've experienced something within barbering and I carry it around for weeks because I'm trying to figure it and process it and digest it and break it down. And because I don't have anybody immediately that I can have that conversation with, I'm walking around like, am I tripping? Like, am I tripping, or am I looking at this right? Am I on the wrong? Like, but you don't have nobody you can have that conversation with necessarily. So it could be, barbering can be the most socially lonely thing that you can do.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's really funny because people always look at me funny when I say that I'm more introverted.
Absolutely. Most barbers are.
Yeah. They see me, you know, being a pillar of my community. They see me behind the chair talking and being charismatic with people. They see me at shows, on stage, you know, demoing, all of that. But when all of that is away, man, I like to be like hibernating. That's
right.
Hey, you used the right word. God, you did.
So I'm gonna put a quick spin on it, and I'm gonna give you your props, because this is extremely important in our industry, and not talked about. And I'm kind of struggling with it. Former athlete, and I'm struggling with it now. I'm watching your journey, your weight loss and your healthy journey, and you know that also helps to put you in and Shy has went through the same journey, and kudos to him as well, because you guys are achieving good things, and you guys are going down, and I'm going all the way opposite. I'm at my easiest way I've ever been at. I'm struggling. How has the health journey helped you every day behind the chair?
many ways. You know, my health journey is another one of those things that kept me going throughout hard times. I had a routine and a plan, and I was the biggest thing with your health is being prepared.
Yep.
That is the major thing. Knowing what you're going to eat. First of all, it's all your nutrition, right? going to the gym is that's just extra. That's just a little sprinkles on top.
Not outwork a bad diet. It doesn't
Not
exist.
for a long time, at least. You know, you could do it for a week, but you know, we're going long term here. We're doing this for life, literally. But it's also, so I went through my journey and I lost a total of 75 pounds. I have gained some of that weight back. I've probably gained, I think right now, I've gained probably like 15 to 20 of that back. And it's always a constant journey and it's always a constant learning situation, right? But I think the most important part is being able to give yourself grace through the journey. You know, recently when I actually started the second location and the food business within the same week. I committed to both of them. So I actually have not been in the gym since probably like March.
Wow.
I've probably gone 5 times since March. And I was a person at that time that I was going 5-6 days a week, sometimes 7. And, you know, I'm just in a different season of life and I'm giving myself grace because there is that little voice that's like, kind of, you know, you belong in the gym. You know, you belong being there. But a lot of why I was in the gym so hard was because it helped me mentally. I'm never really an angry person. I hold a lot of that in. Like, you don't ever see me, you know, like going off, or I'm usually never visibly angry.
I've seen you hit my bag though.
That's where it comes out. You know, that's what I was doing. You know, that was how I got rid of that kind of energy that I was withholding with myself. But this season of life is more about giving myself grace. I'm controlling what I can control, which is my food and being prepared. I'm not in the gym, but I'm really taking it back to my basics. You know, I lost over 40 pounds without even going to the gym. So I know that it's possible and I know that I can do it. And that's really what I've been doing, is kind of starting back at square one.
Okay.
Small habits every day. I always say little by little, everything adds up, whether it's going one way or another. If you have to break it down, you know, you have to break it down, win the day, win today, win tomorrow, win the next day, you know, like focus on the step in front of you and not the whole staircase that's below it, and win that. And next thing you know, you're winning the weeks, then you're winning the months. And when you're winning months, by that time, it is a habit. And you won't even let yourself do something differently. But as far as being behind the chair, my ankles, my knees, my hips, like, it's literally night and day.
That back, that lower back.
Yeah.
Damn spinal cord.
Man.
But more so health-wise, you know, obviously I have more confidence within myself. You know, I'm happier with what I see physically now. But the biggest transformation is what happens up here. I can't explain it to you. That I could spend a whole nother hour talking about that. But that's really where the transformation is. And you have to come out of this thought process that you're doing it to see yourself lose weight. Once you let go of that and you're like, hey, I'm gonna really take a chance on this. I'm gonna spend 6 months. I'm gonna give myself 6 months, and this is what I'm doing.
Right.
Because you have to have that confidence, that self-confidence. And self-confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself, and they build with every act that you honor yourself.
Absolutely. And that's a journey that requires a lot of willing to be self-aware, because you could start that journey with a whole group of people, but once it starts to really become that lifestyle change, oftentimes you look up and you're taking that journey by yourself. And you got to be willing to do that. You got to be willing to hold yourself accountable and like she said, get up and win the day, because you can overwhelm yourself like this thinking about too much at one time, trying to accomplish too much at one time, and overfill your plate.
Right.
And before you know it, you just let it all go. I've done it. I think anybody that's suffered with like on again, off again weight know that feeling of losing it, gaining it all back, losing it, gaining it all back. It's life. But the thing that I love that she said the most that my homie, he just jumped on here, actually James Johnson, taught me was give yourself some grace. You're human.
Right.
You're a human being. You're human.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be perfect, but you know, once you get to that mindset where you're like, all right, okay, I didn't slack enough. Get up, dust yourself off, and get back to it.
It's all about the recovery. It's all about the recovery, and the amount of time that you leave in between falling down and standing back up is what matters. You know, because I remember before I really stayed committed to it, I would go to the gym for 3 months on, you know, consistently, and I would miss a week because life was busy, you know, like really suitable things were just happening that I couldn't necessarily control as much. And I was so down on myself. And I'm like, man, all of this I've worked for 3 months and I just threw it down the drain, and then I wouldn't go back for 2 years. What if I would have picked up the next week and kept going?
Right.
Yep.
And I always say too, like, if you look at the scale of life or the graph of life, right? As long as you're, say today, I lose a you know, I'm just going to use weight for, you know, purposes of this, make it easy. But say I lose a pound this week. Next week, I don't lose anything. I stay where I'm at. Then I gain 2 pounds. Okay, but the next week, I lost 3 pounds. But when you spread that over your lifespan, that's still going to be a downward scale.
Right.
We're talking weeks versus your years.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think too, this is petty, but this is where I'm at with it, right? I just look at them high school pictures. How close am I to looking like that again? You feel me? Like, I understand all that gonna change. You get me? I know this gonna change, but is the body looking like that or better than that? If the body looking better than that, I'm in great shape. I don't know damn nobody talking about it. I let everything else. This could go bald. One of my eyebrows could fall off. I'll take my shirt off and I'm decent. I'm good. I ain't worried about nothing.
Crazy. Everybody's got to have something to look to.
Right.
Flat out. For real. Straight like that.
Right.
Hey, and think about the people that are behind you, like preying on your downfall. That's enough motivation in itself.
Oh, most definitely. I can't wait to see their face when they see you in the summertime. They be like, people that put stuff in front of, like, oh man, you still doing a little podcast? Right. You still got the little barbershop? you still driving that little Chevy?
Right.
Look. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That hoodie hitting different, ain't it, huh?
Yeah. Hibernating's over.
What you said? What you said?
Man, this has been a wonderful interview. I know I have one more question. I don't
honestly
know.
I don't got nothing to do, so ask away. I'm here for it.
So, as we're ending, we have two, and I'll let you ask the other question, one of our ending questions. But I'm just curious with barbers, if you had one person from any era of life that you could cut, that you just had your dream client, one person you could cut, who would it be and why? As
in like wanting to cut barbers?
Just if you had one client to put in your chair, anybody
alive, deceased,
right?
You could say in George Washington if you want to. Anybody,
just one person. Who would it be and why?
This is a very complex question. It may not seem like it because it's like I always preach this thing where, you know, when I was in barber school, so I went back for barbering because I had to get my license.
Okay.
Before I opened my barber shop. And I remember being in class and everybody was like, you have to narrow in and figure out what your ideal clientele is and figure out, you know, your market, you know, who do you want to cut? And that's the best way for you to do it. But I always hated that question. I hate that mindset. As far as having somebody that I really want to cut, honestly, it's whoever wants to pay my price.
I mean, from the standpoint, if you had an idol, if it's someone you wanted to pick their brain for information, it's not even about the money. It's just a person that you could spend that half an hour with, just to kind of pick their brain.
And for you, it's unique because you do updos and colors, so it could be men or women.
So it's not even about the money. It's just about the opportunity. Like I'm gonna give you an example. For me, if I could go back and do it again, just one person in my chair, it would be one of my closest friends that was a barber that inspired me, and he passed away. You know, just out the blue, nobody was expecting. So if I could do it one more time, that would just be the person for me, just to be able to spend that half an hour to an hour with.
I mean, that's deep. I'm struggling.
On the other side of the spectrum, I'm gonna tell you, I cut Bart Simpson. Give me Bart. Give me Bart, bro. I'm blurry his ass out, throw a part in that zigzag. I'm telling you, give me Bart. I'm going crazy with Bart. You hear me?
Man, I really, I mean, maybe I'm gonna be boring for this, but I feel like I don't really have anybody that I have questions about anything or I want to talk to them about. I really have them very close by, to the point that I could pick up the phone and call them, which is a major blessing within itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I respect that.
And I say that because I'm so thankful and I'm so blessed to be able to do that, to the point where I don't really want for nothing as far as, you know, whatever, but I'm always the type of person that I love hearing people's stories and how they overcame something, how they, you know, handle the situation, what their insight is on it. I don't know, man. I mean,
I respect that though. That's knowing yourself. That's knowing yourself.
I totally respect.
I respect.
Yeah.
Somebody else I would say, give me a poo. A poo shit was jacked up, bro. Give me a poo. A poo was the dude in charge of the quickie mart, bro. And his shit was out to the side, like, yeah, bro. Listen, for me, it's about finding people haircuts that I think will be dope, bro. Like, as far as like talking to somebody and spending a moment with them, that's cool. But for me, barbering is, I want to continue to keep the cutting side of it more landed and grounded on the artistic, creative side of things, right? I want to. That's my playground. When you sit in that chair, you in my world. That's my playground. I can be creative. I can express myself. I especially when you get them clients that come in and say, "Oh, just do what you're gonna do."
But even with my situation, that would be my last time to just bless him and just lace it.
And I'm not belittling that at all. Not at all.
I mean,
I'm actually lining this up for another segue, but I keep it on the artistic side because it's that freedom to create, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's a part of barbering that a lot of people are pulling away from. People are taking the creativity out of it, and it's becoming more of a stamping system. I can make my cut look like that cut because I think that cut is nice, so everybody gonna think it's nice, and they just stamping out the same cuts. So when I see barbers like yourself who go into shape and phase, throwing the designs in there, creatively throwing designs in there, not mimicking the same designs over and over again, because trust me, I know how difficult it can be when you done been design, and then somebody sit down and you draw a blank like, shit, I don't know what to put in your head that I ain't putting somebody else's head. So to find some, trust me, I understand that thought process. So when I see somebody that's still doing the designs, because if you notice, it's a lot of barbers getting away from it. They're not doing designs like that no more.
Yeah.
And if they are doing them, they're keeping them so simplistic that you can't really get a chance to see the artistry side of barbering. So when I went through your page and I looked down and I seen the designs and the creativity behind the designs, that's what really jumped out to me. I'm like, yeah, I want to talk to her because that I can relate with. I can relate to. I'm sorry. That's my lane. Like, I love when people sit down and be like, especially if I'm going through it in my life, like I'm going through something, like I'm heavy. I'm walking. I may have walked in 100 pounds lighter, but I got 200 pounds of stress on my shoulders. And then that client come right through the door and be like, man, I really just want to take it off. I seen your designs, and I be like, all right, what you got in mind? And I'm waiting for the bull, but they be like, you know what? No, just do you. Whatever you want to do, just do you. Listen, I go straight to my phone and hit that Erykah Badu playlist, and it's over with. I'm going crazy. You hear me? I'm finna go crazy because you gave me the opportunity to take the reins off. I don't have to do this stepped haircut, and now I can lean back into the artistry of it. And I want you to talk about that because I'm dying to get to know the creative side of you. What keeps that and drives that?
Man, I mean, growing up when I was in high school, so back, rewind, I told you I knew I didn't want to go to college. I knew that was not the plan for me. So naturally, I gravitated towards the art room.
Right.
I was always in the art room, always trying to get, my hands dirty doing something and getting into the art side of things. So art is actually something that I really pull. And I don't mean art as in just being creative. I mean art as in, balance, symmetry, or flow of things, gradients. All those artistic terms are things that I put into my designs and my haircuts. And that's been something that's been really cool, like starting a design in the front and being like, okay, how can I make the back flow and balance with the front of it? But I love it. I'm the same way you are. Like if I'm going through something, like just let me get creative and I'm good. One of the things I want to do in my next house is that I want to have an art room. I want to be able to have, canvases and paint. I really want to get back into dealing with clay and like pottery. But that's all the kind of things that I dream of that. Like I can't wait to really get my hands into things. And back to your question about if I wasn't barbering, what would I be doing? Honestly, it'd be something along those lines. I would probably either be a tattoo artist or I would.
You better talk.
I actually did Taylor Perry's SMP class, and I bought a tattoo gun. Yep. So through doing the SMP class, and I also I had a business doing lashes and microblading before I opened up the first barbershop. I got comfortable with depositing ink into the skin. I mean, I gave myself a tattoo on my leg, so it's not really something that's unfamiliar, So I would probably get into that. I really like to draw, but something along the art side is definitely what I would be doing.
Okay.
What's crazy is I did the same thing. I bought a tattoo. This was years ago, though. I bought a tattoo gun. I bought the pig skin. I went to the bodega around here, the little Mexican shop, got the pig skin, practicing on it. Listen, S Craft may be your daddy, but I'm definitely your brother. I got a sister in New York. I just need the world to know. I got a sister in New York, bro, because, yo, I swear to God, if I was not barbering, I would 1,000% be into tattoos, doing tattoos. 1,000%. Hell yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I love that. I grew up and, I remember seeing Kat Von D.
Yes.
I grew up, I remember the first time I ever saw Kat Von D when I was in like middle school on TV. And I was like, yeah, Mm-hmm. I don't got tattoos right now, but somebody like me exists. I remember seeing her.
Exists in the world. She did an episode where she got an appointment with this guy to do her tattoo. And this dude was like exclusive. Like you would have to email him and book it out like a year in advance to get a tattoo by him. That episode sucked me into my TV so much. I swear to God, I've been getting covered since. Like I haven't stopped since that episode. Like tattoos is where it's, and it's something about again, tattooing is so related to barbering because of that artistry, that ability to create, bro. Because I don't know, man. I ain't gonna let me get off my soapbox because I like you said earlier about the mental. When you start talking about the artistry and the philosophy of barbering and all this, that's my jam. I'll play that tune all night. So let me go ahead and calm me down, get me together. You know what I'm saying? This ain't about me. This is about you. You feel me? So get back to you.
And that's, man, it's just been amazing, man. I love finding out about people's journeys, and it's inspiring. I was watching an interview a couple hours ago, and my wife was, I told her this was inspiring. She said, "What about it inspires you?" And when I hear older or younger, I hear people's stories and them overcoming or setting out on their journey to conquer something that they're after. It just lets me know that I can do anything that I set out to do. And so you coming on and allowing us to, sharing your journey with us, letting us know more about you, because I was extremely interested. Like my son was excited when he found out you were going to be on, because we cut together. He's in the shop with me, and we cut together, and he was excited too. He was like, "Oh, we were having a conversation with another client today, about your cutting." So we were looking forward to this, and man, it's been great. We have to thank Beam again, Poppy Beam, and we greatly appreciate it. And just for you to take time out of your busy day, before we get off, tell us a little bit about your restaurant, because we all like food on here. So I'm just curious, what kind of restaurant did you open up, and how is that going before we get off?
And I travel to eat, bro. I'll spend that 12 minutes you spent to get on that. I'll spend that to go eat. So yeah, let us know.
I love it. So before COVID hit, I really wanted to get into the food industry. I love food, major foodie myself. But just with circumstances and how COVID was, it wasn't at the right time. I understood. But I love barbering also because it's provided me a platform to meet people, right? So one of my clients that I've been cutting for years, where I live, it's major wine country. We have wineries everywhere. They have like a wine trail. People come up here to vacation specifically for that. But one of my clients, him and I are always talking business, which I love. I love how, just as much as 245 is on my side, so are some of my clients that are business oriented. And so he had said, he's like, "Man," he's like, "I've been really struggling because we can't keep somebody in the kitchen." He owns the biggest winery, him and his wife, and they have a partner as well. But they own the biggest winery in the area.
Okay.
They call it like adult Disneyland, basically. It's pretty funny. But he was like, "We can't keep somebody in the kitchen here. We're struggling." And I looked at him, I was like, "Let me try." I was like, "I've been wanting to do it. Let me do something." He looked at me, he was like, "You don't have time for this." And I was like, "I'm going to figure it out."
Right.
So I did. That was the problem that I saw. And I knew that I wanted to replace myself. I knew I didn't want to be behind the line in the kitchen for so long. So I came up with the system of making empanadas.
Okay.
Prepped ahead of time. They're little to no fail system. And so basically I do pop-ups out of their kitchen. I prep them out of there. I store them there. And then I'm there usually 1 or 2 times a weekend. And I sell empanadas, there's no food out there, so it gives me an advantage of being able to price my my stuff high. Like, it's actually pretty insane. And, you know, as grateful and humble as I am to have the opportunity, you know, if you would have told me, you know, even a year ago that I'd be sitting here selling empanadas for almost $10 for one, I'd be like, you're crazy.
No, that makes sense in a winery. That makes perfect sense. People, a winery is like a golf course. You don't go there not expecting to spend some money. You're going to spend some money. But I feel like you're cheating us a little bit, because I want to know more about the empanadas. Like, you can't say empanadas and not tell me, like, what's the fillings? Like, what we talking? Like, are we going with handmade dough for the empanadas? Are we going corn-based flour? Like, you got to tell me something.
So I am keeping my system simple for now. I don't make the dough. I just use the Goya ones. But the inside I make, I do ground beef, peppers, onions, olives, cheese, and then I also have a buffalo chicken one that I do, and I'm hoping to add flavors as I go and I'm able to prep more. And then I also do a dessert one, which is a warm apple pie, and then I made a glaze for the top with like coarse sugar, and I serve it with ice cream with caramel whipped cream.
Okay.
I heard that. Anybody, I'll put it down here in case anybody wants to see them.
Okay, absolutely.
That last one sound like a $10, $12 purchase. Well worth it.
Right.
Well worth it.
They're dangerous. I've been doing it for months now, and I still go to work like, man, I can't wait to eat an empanada for lunch. So that's how you know.
Hey, you know you burn it when you want to eat your own food,
right?
You in that to it.
Yeah.
So as we end it, so you got all these, you got your hands in a little bit of everything.
Thanks.
Ultimately, what's next for Kim? Like, what are we gonna see? What else is coming?
That's a great question. A life where I've kind of turned the corner a little bit. I don't think I'll ever stop. Like, I can't see myself stopping the grind, the solving problems. You know, I've tried to envision what that would be like if I did, and I don't think that I can do it. But right now, my goal is to create as much passive income as I can to the point where my time is as free as it can be. Heading into this next chapter of my life, like I said, I'm going to be 30 at some point in the next couple years. And I really want to be able, you know, within my 5 to, you know, max 10-year plan, is to be able to have kids. So I really want to be able to raise my kids. That's something that's really important to me. It's not the hustle and bustle, the glamorous, you know, work. But I believe that our world is starting to gear towards pulling families apart, putting kids in daycare. You know, both parents are gone working. You only spend a couple hours together at night, and that's not something that I want for myself and my family. So I'm trying to figure that part of it out. But at the same time, it's so hard because I'm like, I can't let go of this.
Absolutely.
I still want to hustle. I still want to scale things. So really, I'm also trying to create a team that allows me to kind of have the best of both worlds.
That's what's up.
It's good that you're considering that now. Understanding that there is going to have to be an implementation of work-life balance, right? It's also, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have no work-life balance right now. Like,
you're not supposed to at 28. Don't knock yourself. You're not supposed to. 28, you're supposed to be getting your hands and your feet wet and everything, and trying to figure out how you want to, you know, go in your direction. Like right now, you in the golden age of your life. You really in a position, especially if you don't have any children. Are you married?
No, I'm not. No kids,
not married,
no husband. So I'm
no children.
Yeah.
Bro, you listen. Live life. You feel me? Live life. You are in the position to live life and experience life, the true flavors of life. You can experience them right now. So experience them. But I think it's dope that you have people around you who do have families. They're married. They're more grounded in regards to their approach, work-life balance, right? You're gonna pick up those lessons from them, even if you're not necessarily paying attention to them all that together, right now.
Right.
You're gonna be picking them up just because you're around it. So once you get into that position where you are ready to kind of make that transition and turn that corner all the way, you'll have an understanding of it. It'll make sense. Plus, the way you moving at the pace that you moving, I'm gonna speak it into existence for you. You feel me? Because you're my little sister out there, way out there in New York. You know what I'm saying? In the West. So I'm gonna speak it into existence for you. You're gonna already be in a position where it's gonna be easy to make that transition because you're gonna be removed where your money gonna be making money for you. The business is gonna be sufficing itself, and you're just gonna be caretaking those are gonna be your hypothetical babies when the real babies come. You feel me?
Right. You know, because they have been my babies for so long. It is exciting, and I'm grateful to be able to prepare for that now, because I'd rather be prepared rather than trying to catch up. So
what you said, ooh, don't get caught flat-footed, because let me tell you, them kids will knock your ass down. My baby be knocking. You see all these grades? This shit, never mind. This ain't about me.
Right.
This is about you. So we done got to the point where we're gonna start wrapping this thing up. And the last question we like to ask everybody that's on is a very, very important question. So I need you to put your listening cap on. I need you to put your thinking cap on. I got some names in my mind that I hope that you say, but you never know. You know, life is grand. You know, we live in it. You live in the flavor. So the question is this: if you, now that you've been a part and you've come on the platform, and we thank you again. We definitely appreciate you,
Absolutely.
providing your time and being here with us and talking to us and letting us know who you are and then letting the world know who you are. Now that you've experienced the I Cut My Way Out podcast and you've been a part of it, if you could see anybody else on the I Cut My Way Out podcast and someone that you would want to hear their story, or you want the world to hear their story, who would it be? But before you answer, I want you to think about that. Before you answer, I ain't gonna let you put your foot in no shit. You understand what I'm saying to you? So before you answer that, you gotta help us get them on here.
I can do that. All right. I'm gonna give you top 3.
Okay.
I would say, you said you've been talking to Shannon, right?
Yeah.
Shannon,
It ain't locked in all the way, so feel free. Now, don't. You know what I'm saying?
Shannon's a great one. You guys had Beam on here. I would say a major person. I think you guys would love to have conversation with, and that would do great. And he's got a beautiful story, and he is so motivating. Would be, obviously, I'm going to throw my fellow 245 brother on here, Nate. Nate motivates.
Okay.
Man, he's so inspirational, and has such an impact on, the things that I've been doing and have done, both, in life and within 245 in business. The grit and the discipline that man has is something that I think everybody needs to hear about. So I would say Nate. I would say Brandy. I don't know if Brandy's been on here yet. The original barber doll. Brandy.
No.
We've been trying. I've been trying.
She's wonderful.
We need that assist.
All right, I'm gonna put some wind at her back on that one.
Okay.
Man, third one.
This is a good question. This is a great question.
Yeah, I love this question.
I feel like I'm gonna reach out to Nate because that's my real name. So I'm definitely gonna reach out to him.
You should. Nate Galan.
Yeah, it's a great name. Is his real name Nathaniel?
Yes.
Wow. It's only a few of us, you know what I mean?
It's meant to be.
It's only a few of us, we grace the world when we can, but
right.
Yeah.
We're blessed to have y'all here.
What's more great than an 8? You know what I'm saying? What's more great than an 8, bro?
There you
I'm
go.
just trying to tell you.
Trademark that one.
I'm trying to tell you.
And the third one, man, CJ. My guy, CJ Barber.
Why does that name sound so familiar?
The CJ. Say it again. I didn't hear.
CJ the Barber. He is a part of Josh OP. He's a real good affiliate of us with 245. Yeah, Cutflow Dre said Nate is that dude. Yeah, he's major, man.
Both of them. Both.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be CJ the Barber. He kills it with the designs. You want to talk about designs and like has the hair color in the designs. Man. Yeah, those would be my 3 that I think would be an awesome fit to this podcast. I will definitely reach out and I'll send the alley-oop over to them. And hopefully we can make something happen.
Absolutely.
Game Boy, any tips for any up-and-coming barbers? I got a tip for you. This is a great tip. Listen, you gotta listen now. You gotta get real close to your phone so you can hear me. This is a tip. 245 has a university. If you didn't know, she's an educator for 245. They have a university. She educates for 245. If anybody is going to be able to give you valid information that you can apply to your barbering career, be it the start, middle, or if you're trying to transition out of barbering and get your financial institution together, 245 has an educational thing that you need to look into. That's a nugget. You know what I'm saying? That's a little nugget.
If I were to, rounding it all back full circle, if I were to go back to day one, Kenna stepping foot into the barbershop, I wish that the platform that 245 has created with the information, the knowledge, the education, our mentorship literally can take you from day one of your barber career and just send it from there. Bossy always says, he's like, this is me taking my, year whatever vision and working it backwards to you guys, teaching you what I learned through. So I would be hold of the mentorship, invest in yourself. If you don't do the mentorship, then we do have the academy, but that's my advice. And if that doesn't work yet and you're not willing to invest in that yet, all I can say is keep your head down and your eyes up.
Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate you so much, man. I really thank you, first off, because I took a week off last week taking care of family stuff, so I was nervous coming on here. I ain't gonna be in that pocket, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how this gonna go. Come to find out, I got family in New York, so we you know what I'm saying? I'm good. I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. Everybody who tuned in, even those who tuned in and jumped out, we saw y'all jump in and jump out. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no cap over here. We seen you jump in and jump out. That's cool too. Thank you so much. Every Wednesday, 7:30 Central Standard Time, we are live here on Instagram. We will be cutting up the interview, putting out reels. We're trying to get more involved with putting more content out. As of right now, it's a 2-man show, and it's difficult to stay on top of all that. But we're doing our best, so bear with us with that. And if you have anything you want to stamp before we go.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you again, Kenna. Just being open, communicating. You were on point every step of the way. You were open. Everybody is not as open as, people like yourself get on here. Other people are seeing what we're doing, and they're seeing that we're authentic, we're passionate, and this is about celebrating the culture. No gender lines. We're all barbers. We're all family. So we greatly appreciate you for taking the time. We greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. Whether you jumped in, jumped out, you jumped in. So that's what counted, right? Follow us. This also, in its entirety, will be available next week on our YouTube channel. So for those who didn't get to join in, can see it in its entirety. And again, we just thank you, and we thank everybody. for being a part of it. It's really special. This is our baby. We do it every week, and it means so much to us. So for you to be a part of it, that means a lot to us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. I honestly am so grateful that you guys, you know, seek me out and invited me here. I'm blessed to be here. I loved having the conversation with you guys. And I'm so grateful that you guys are doing this for the culture and for the industry, because, you know, Instagram and social media and even YouTube and all of that can be so, you know, beautiful, and there's so much hard work and stuff put into it. But being able to sit back and have these conversations, you know, person to person, you know, be raw, vulnerable, and, you know, learn about the journey, I think is priceless, and I think the culture needs it. So there's so much value in what you guys are doing, and I do pray that you guys stay consistent, because, you know, more consistency and discipline you have with it, you know, it has no choice after however long, you know, to grow and to keep going. I was like the starfish story. I know I'm trying not to, I could talk about this for days and days and days, right? But basically the starfish story is one that I live by. It's short and simple. It's find this little boy, and when the tide went down, he went out and he grabbed a starfish and throws it back in the ocean, grabs another starfish, throws it back in the ocean, and he's doing it for miles along this beach. And this old man goes up to the young boy and he says, "Son," he's like, "you need to stop wasting your time with the starfish." He's like, "there's so many of them. This beach goes on for miles and miles. You're wasting your time." And the little boy grabs a starfish and he shows it to the old man and he says, "but it matters to this one starfish." And he throws it back in. So what you guys are doing, you know, it always matters to that one starfish, and them starfishes add up. So thank you guys for having me here. Thank you everybody that tuned in and listened to my story, listened to our conversation. It truly was a pleasure, and, you know, I'm excited to run into you guys hopefully at another show, you know, sooner rather than later. And
absolutely.
Thank you again.
Thank you. That meant a lot.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Everybody, bless night. All right.